A reading from the book of the prophet Sirach. The Lord is a God of justice, who knows no favorites. Though not unduly partial toward the weak, yet he hears the cry of the oppressed. The Lord is not deaf to the wail of the orphan, nor to the widow when she pours out her complaint. The one who serves God willingly is heard. His petition reaches the heavens. The prayer of the lowly pierces the clouds. It does not rest till it reaches its goal, nor will it withdraw till the Most High responds, judges justly, and affirms the right, and the Lord will not delay. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
So, praying over this reading through the course of the week, one person kept coming to mind to me. It was a friend that I had met in Haiti. His name was Janvier, which is French for January, but he was born in August. So to this day, I still don't know why he was named that. But Janvier did everything that I thought every person could do in one life. He studied banking at the university in Port-au-Prince, but he was a teacher, he was a policeman, and a translator. I actually asked him one time, and he never ended up working as a banker, as he had studied for. When I asked him about that, I said, Janvier, why all these things? And he says he works for the poor, and it leads him to whatever capacities he needs to serve. So I'm going over my own life too. I'm noticing the same trends, but not to the extent that he went through, or I went through. I saw the poor for the first time when I was 8, when I went to the Philippines, in the very city. I saw the poor again when I was working with the Missionaries of Charity in Gary, a few minutes from my house. I dealt with the poor again when I was a church mouse at Purdue at the ungodliest hours. I saw the poor also at face value in Haiti for the first time. And in Denver last year with the novitiate, seeing the poor within the community itself. And it's that first exposure that you start to develop a certain level of compassion, and then all of a sudden, I saw it within myself and with my friends when I went to Haiti, is that there's a fire that's burning within you to kind of repeat it, and it's just that one contact with them, and you telling yourself, I want to do this again, and I want to do this again. But at the same time, it raised the question, do we tend to romanticize working for the poor? Romanticize in a way where we meet someone in Haiti, but here we are in Denver, and we want to do the same. Brothers, I'd be foolish to think that the people that I had worked with in Haiti would treat me or would be the same in Denver or Purdue. I mean, we could say the poor is the poor, but that's not true. We have to look at the psychology, or the social context, like their upbringing or their culture. But something changed when I talked to the poor in Denver, for the first time. I remember taking time out sometimes after my ministries, because I came off sometimes early. Bob would kill me if I came home at 2 o'clock when we were supposed to come home at 4. And some of the conversations we had were wonderful. But there was a resentment that I started to have because I helped the poor that one day, and here we are again the next week asking for the same thing. And here we are, I'm asking myself, why should I help them? They got themselves in this situation, it's not my priority. Or you help them once, but they're going to go back to their same way. I remember 2 people coming to the novitiate asking for money for a bus ticket. And clearly, I thought it was going to go towards a bus ticket, but 2 houses down, they're asking the same question again. So I'm asking myself, why bother? Why bother helping them? Because they're unappreciative. So to carry on this disillusionment, I'm asking myself the same thing when I was going through Haiti. Could I have stayed there more than a week? Would I have felt the same love that I had felt, the same fire, if I'd stayed there for a month, or for a year, or for 10 years? How do I work through those bothers? Why bothers? Whether or not, no matter what we do, we're always going to be engaged with the poor in some way in our lives. But at some point, we come to realize that their lives are not in our hands. We can help them, but in the end, they have to help themselves. And in a certain way, we're not helping the poor. In some way, we're helping them, but something we have to look more intently is that they're helping us. They're teaching us the virtue of humility is a profound plea to God that God alone can fulfill. So we're looking at the words of Sirach. The one who serves God willingly is heard. His petition reaches the heavens. The prayer of the lowly pierces the clouds. It does not rest until it reaches its goal. These aren't prescriptions for what we should do with the poor. Sirach's not telling us that when we encounter someone, we have to call the number that's in the binder near the front door. It's how we receive them. It's how we receive the poor. Because I'm asking myself, how do the missionaries of charity do it? Every instance they do, every chance that they get with meeting someone, how do they do it? How do they meet someone with the same love each and every time? Because here it says, the Lord is the God of justice who knows no favorites. So we always talk about within our own lives that God takes us as we are. Which could be pertinent to our own vocation. But brothers, I think Sirach's telling us too that same message applies to us when we care for the poor, that we take them as they are. Whether they're in Haiti, whether they're in Denver, whether they're at Purdue. Benedict XVI said in Caritatis Veritate, he says, awareness of God's undying love sustains us in our laborious and stimulating work for justice and the development of people, amid success and failures, and the ceaseless pursuit of a just order of human affairs. Awareness of God's undying love sustains us. So it's interesting because working for the poor, when we hear it in the homily, it seems to us that we've heard it before. But when we go out and do it, it is tough. It is tough. But brothers, that's how it is. The answers to serving the poor is not going to come out to us tomorrow. It's going to take our lifetime. Why? Because God sets the bar high for us. He expects the best from us. And as servants of God, we can only keep ourselves grounded in that love. So I'm remembering Jean Vier, a person who wanted to be a banker, but did all these things. He passed away in the earthquake in Haiti. But what he has taught me lives to this day. So brothers, let us remind ourselves what the words of Sirach have heard here. Do we hear the cry of the poor in our own lives?